Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're doing another tier list. This time we're ranking all the Infinity Saga movies. A little backstory before we get into the MCU movies. Right around the time Infinity War came out, I started playing a little mobile game called Marvel Strike Force. And I've been playing that ever since, spending way too much money. And along the way, I became a leader of my alliance, and I joined with a good friend, Mighty Max, who is going to be joining us today to discuss this. So, everyone, please welcome Max.
What's up?
All right. Phase two begins with Iron Man 3. And Iron Man 3 is universally hated just because of like the Mandarin. And obviously, they've done it justice in 2022 with Shang-Chi, but at the time 2013 or late 2020 2012, I don't know how, like, you had aim in this movie, but it wasn't aim like we know it. It's like fire aim.
Yeah. I'm struggling I remembered that AIM was in it, but I'm struggling to remember exactly what role they played and how
They were
the
the main
Mandarin.
antagonist, but it wasn't even an organization. It was just like the love interest for Gwyneth Paltrow's Pepper Potts or whatever, and she got like fire powers. They're basically like human torches. And then Iron Man has like the Legion, which is like the first time he has all these
Yeah.
different Iron Man suits and
Yeah. Let's see,
everything.
like I remembered enjoying the movie the first time I watched it. Like I didn't walk out of there and be like, that was such a waste of time, or like you said, so many people that you've ever talked to after it have all hated it. But I did like, I mean, the Mandarin thing didn't bother me that much, but I didn't really understand the connection. I'm still not sure how like AIM and Ten Rings were kind of in the same movie, but um yeah, it's hard for me because it was one that I kind of threw away. Like I watched it, I didn't hate it, but I don't think I would ever watch it again. I thought the Legion was cool when he called all of them out.
Yeah,
I
that was a
thought that was a
cool
cool
scene for
scene at the
sure.
end.
I think
Um,
every Marvel movie, even the worst movies, are better than tons of other movies, right?
yeah,
But like it's like you're comparing these with, like, if we try once we get into, say, the next movie or some of the other movies, then like how does this one stack up? And to me, I'm giving this like I would say it's better than the Hulk, but I would even rather watch Thor because at the very least you get Natalie Portman, right? I'm
for
giving this
sure.
C tier above the Hulk.
Um, yeah, I'd go with that. I don't see
Okay,
any.
so speaking of Natalie Portman, our next movie is Thor 2, The Dark World, which is about like the dark elves, and it's more focused on like part of me, Loki's in jail, and he breaks out and he teams up to say it to help him, and he quote dies at the time, right?
Mhm.
The dark elf is played by one of the doctors from Doctor Who. It's kind of a little known fact almost. Again, this is like it has. I believe this is the first movie that introduces a second stone into it, because you had the Tesseract in the phase one, and this introduces the ether or whatever, and Natalie Portman
Right.
gets like infected with the ether.
Yeah. I mean, this one for me, I remember being bored. That's what I remember.
It's definitely a boring movie. I definitely think that even like the elf stuff, nothing really memorable. I think they were like fighting and they're teleporting for some reason, like through the different, like, the Bifrost or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
remember why they were teleporting, but I remember them teleporting, or how they were even teleporting. Um, this is one of the things with any kind of that's tough for me. I'm gonna probably go with C also, maybe even D.
That was for me, it would be like a definite D. Like it was one of the first ones where like I felt like I didn't really have fun watching.
Yeah,
Like for
all
me,
right.
like the tears for the most part for me are about how much fun I had, you know,
Yeah,
and how much
absolutely.
excitement I had around it. And I just didn't it didn't pop for me.
Now, I believe the next movie, if you want excitement, you got Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So Hydra is been around this entire time and they're actually infiltrated in every major organization. Then you have the return of Bucky, who was it's kind of surreal watching Cap One because you see Sebastian Stan as Bucky there, and then he's just a total badass. You have Sharon Carter in this movie, who's going to be major in like Captain America 4 by the seams of it, and then you have all sorts of crazy stuff, and like that whole Hail Hydra meme was massive at the time. Um, for the longest time, I would consider this my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, yeah. This one, like I just said, like measuring it on the excitement factor, man, this one was just like exploding everywhere at the time. It was so cool. The I remember being so hyped just by the trailer when they had that like sick moment where like Bucky falls off the car or something and like puts his arm down and like stops himself on the road. Like it was just so cool. This one I
How
would put like probably a solid A, if
for me,
not
I'm
higher.
going S tier, and I'm going to use my like I don't know what you want to call it, but it's my turn to
Yeah.
pick one, and I'm going S tier, and I'll say it's a better than Avengers for me anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man. See, I can't even believe I would put it in A if I consider it better than the Avengers, like
yeah,
definitely had all that hype around it.
for sure. So then, yeah, it's super huge, and again, very important movie for what's to come in the future and all that. With how like now Shield is no longer a thing, right? And um, like it's been always there. So the next movie, you want to continue the hype? You have Guardians of the Galaxy Part One.
Yeah, man. That one was real good. I don't know, like for me, it's funny. Like I have this moment like stuck in my head where I'm talking to some of the guys in my office about the movie, and one of the guys walked in and he's like, "Oh, I couldn't even watch it. Like I walked out halfway through. It was terrible." I was like, "What planet are you living on? Like this movie was so much fun. I had no idea about any of the characters at the time. I didn't know any of their backstories." Um, but I felt like the writing, the story, everything came
Visuals,
together. Yeah, the
music,
visuals just amazing. The music's so good.
just everything. It. I also think like everyone references this movie because everyone knew who Captain America was. Everyone
Right.
knew who Thor was. They just weren't in the mainstream. Nobody knew who. Like if you talk about like like everyone knows who like Spider-Man is.
Right.
Nobody knew who like they were like D-list comic book characters, and
For sure.
these characters made him. And then you had like Chris Pratt, who was just coming off what's that one sitcom with the
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had Zoe Salanda, who's coming off Avatar. You have Dave Batista, who's a wrestler, and then you have like Vin Diesel as Groot, and
Yeah. I forgot he played Groot.
yeah, and then who's Rocket? What's Rocket's buddy from Limitless, and he's in Hangover and everything. Bradley, something Bradley.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so S tier,
Yeah, for sure.
do you like it better than Avengers?
Here's why I would put it above Avengers. I would rather watch that again than Avengers, you know?
Would you rather watch Cap 2 or Guardians?
That's a hard one. That would be a coin flip for me. I don't know.
For me, I've just watched them so many times where I can't enjoy them the same way. I've probably
Right.
watched both movies like 10 times, and yeah. Um, let's just put it here and we can revise it later. It's a
Yeah,
coin flip though. And again, it depends on the day, right?
exactly.
So the next movie, if we're going high off Cap, we're going high off Guardians. We have two S tiers. Then we get to Age of Ultron, which, if like mentioned before with Iron Man 3, we have Age of Ultron, who Ultron, if you know your Marvel comics and everything, Ultron's one of the best villains and the biggest villains, and big movie. No matter what you want to say about the movie, this introduces Vision, this introduces Scarlet Witch. We have Quicksilver in this movie. very briefly. And yeah, like there's a lot of implication movie, but I don't know how good the movie was itself.
See, this one for me, it came at a time where I was traveling too much to really catch a lot of current movies. So I actually missed this one when it was out, and I even missed it again when it was on Netflix briefly, and I didn't end up going back and watching it till a few months ago.
Oh,
Um, yeah, but I still enjoyed it. Like it definitely wasn't, a groundbreaking blockbuster, but I still had a good time watching it. I would go and rewatch it at some point. Uh, I felt like I don't know a ton about Ultron. I felt like they did, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's backstory a little bit dirty. It seemed like I'm not sure, but it seemed like they retconned it a little bit to make it their own.
yeah, well, they
Um,
didn't have the rights to the mutants, right?
right.
So yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I thought it was good. It was solid. Um, I don't know, like if Ultron should have been more powerful or not, but it felt like a real serious threat to the Avengers in the movie. Um, so I mean, I
Yeah,
would probably give it an A.
yeah, I'm content with an A. I just like this movie should be an S because of the Avengers, right? And like the money, I'm content with giving it an A, but because like I look at these other movies below and I think it is better than that. But like almost like Avengers movies are on a different standards than other movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So actually we're not done phase two yet. I guess Ant-Man Part One closes the movie phase two. And this is like we've had all these super epic, like major implication movies. Now let's slow things down. Let's ground things a little bit. And now we got more of like a comedic type movie. My only issue with this movie, I guess, again, it goes back to the comics, is the character of Yellow Jacket is actually just like Hank Pym is supposed to be. Well, Hank Pym is Ant Man, and like he's the main Ant Man in most of the comics. And then because he helped create Ultron, he goes, that's why Ultron looks like an ant. And he goes absolutely crazy because of what he did. And then he like actually goes crazy and becomes Yellow Jacket. And then he becomes basically like a anti bad guy kind of thing, like what Winter Soldier is or something. But then they just kind of made Yellow Jacket a completely different character. So that part bugs me, but I do like the cast and I do like the humor of it and everything like that. And who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. I had no idea about any of the real backstory about Ant-Man and Hank Pym. I knew that Hank Pym was originally Ant-Man in most of the comics, but I didn't know that his connection to Yellowjack and everything.
Yeah.
Um, for me, this again, that one hit when I couldn't really watch movies when they came out. So I actually watched Ant-Man and Wasp first, probably several years ago. I really loved it. Like the dynamic between Ant-Man and Wasp was just great. And then with, Hank Pym always kind of like cutting in between them. And his even Paul Rudd with his buddies and his security company.
Oh, there's the one
Really,
guy who just like dictates that narrates everything.
yeah, yeah, like that. They all kind of hit the right stride for me, and I thought it was really, really well done and funny. And then I went back and I watched Ant-Man, um, about a month or so ago, and it was good, but it wasn't as good. It's one of those situations for me where like I thought the second one was better. Um, and I know we're kind of talking about them out of order here, but like I thought it was okay, but like the jokes didn't hit as hard for me. It was fun to watch. Like you said, it was a good comedic break. Paul Rudd's fantastic. I can't remember that actress's name who plays Wasp.
She actually like lives like she's from like an hour, like a little town like an hour away from my house. Like it's kind of crazy, called Fort Saskatchewan.
Oh,
it's
that's
it's
hilarious.
yeah, it's kind of cool, but like she's probably the biggest actor from like a little town, right?
Sure,
Like
yeah,
especially in
yeah,
Canada, right? They're
yeah.
few and far betweens unless you're a hockey player, right? So um I'm gonna give this like I would say like I like it better than that man, Iron Man 2. What about you?
uh definitely, definitely like it better than Iron Man 2. Yeah.
Better than Avengers 2?
Um, hmm, no, I would watch. I mean, Age of Ultron. Yeah, I would watch that over Ant-Man. So
So
I'd put
B
it
or
somewhere
A?
between them. For me, it would be a B. It just didn't hit as hard. Um, I like the character or the actor who played Yellow Jacket, but he just didn't. I don't know. There's something that wasn't like he didn't hit just right for me.
Yeah, because he's like a character that was created for the movie, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
actor is pretty. He was in this like there's this like horror type zombie show at the time that was really big, and he was the main character of that. All right, yes, that is the tier list, and
We did it.
woot. All right, everyone. So thanks for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button. Thanks, Max, for joining the video.
It was a blast, man. Thanks.
All right, and hope everyone checks out the follow up video, which we'll eventually do, and check you guys later.
Peace.